All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Double honors to Apostle Elders in New York, GMS. Salutations to you, occupying world is teaching truth and putting your lives on the line for it. And shalom to you, Sirius Aqua. My name is Maya Ga'ala from Great Millstone, Chicago. All right, we are not black Hebrew Israelites. We are Israelites. All right, black is a color, not a nationality. The Israelites saw the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and speckled birds scattered abroad. Speckled birds are Israelites who look like other nations, but their father's paternal bloodline go back to the 12 tribes of Israel. We are not affiliated with any violent militant terrorist groups. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite groups. And just gonna jump into it. We have a scoffer by the name of Hugh Gary on my comment board. All right, so we gonna go to his comment. All right, which I saved. And right here is a picture of Gadites in Dallas, Texas. All right. Before World War One, just from the book Black Indians, right? And all right, this what the so-called Native American Gadite looks like. Majority of them, ones you see on TV that's portrayed, that's a minority, man. All right. All right. So guy come in various shades color, but all right, so this guy, he came out Scoffer. He came with a scoff question. All right. This is what he first asked. Brother, please explain to me how the nation Gad, who originally black Negroes, all right, became complete new race called the Cherokee. Today, no black Negroes who are original Gadites are found among them. Should it not be that the Gadites were predominantly black Negroes with Cherokee type mixing among them? But how come that is not the case? It seems the entire Northern Kingdom become a completely new race. Ain't no such thing, no new races, man. You are the seed of your father. All right. This is a general question that needs answer. All right. I'm going to show you what he said earlier. All right. But anyway, there's no such thing, no new race. It said Numbers chapter 1, verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moses in the wilderness, saying, "Thou determine the congregation on the first day of the second month, in the second year after they will come out of the land of Egypt." All right. Take ye sums of all the congregation of children of Israel after their families of the house of their fathers, with the number of their names, and every male by the post. All right. So you already see your father, man. All right. And the reason why some so-called Native American Latinos, all right, Northern Kingdom appeal different. Why? Because their forefathers and foremothers had mixed with the other nations. All right. Go Hosea chapter 7 verse 8. Ephraim is a cake unturned. You know. Yeah, but this guy's a scoffer, man. So I'm gonna show you what he said next. All right, almost sight. Bring this up. Take this down. All right. And show how proud he is. All right. And all this over the 12 tribe sign. Everybody just bugging out that the so-called, they can't believe it, that the so-called Native Americans and Latinos are Israelites, It's just basically Jake, the unlearned among our people. And, they listen to the myths that what Esau teach them at high school. Myths, just proof, all right? Partial truth, that the Native Americans, they enslaved Jake. They never been enslaved, they talking about the five civil tribes, All right. And they just mean and cruel to Jake. All right. You can see it's coming right here. Hugh Gray. Comment, do you answer genuine questions by deleting them? I thought you had 100% truth. First Peter 13, but sanctify your how in your hearts and be ready to always give an answer to every man. All right, this guy proud, man. I just told he ain't come out there. All right. So he's a scoffer, like I said before, man. All right, but continue, man. All right, right here. Wisdom Psalm chapter 7 verse 2. And my mother's womb was fashioned to be flesh, and a time of 10 months being come back the blood of the seed of man, and the pleasure that came with sleep. Right. So you are the seed of your father. All right. God's word, mix, man. All right, such things no new race. You go to Genesis 46 and 10. All right, that new race, man, that's some ignorant ignorant concept that Esau had pushed purposely to confuse the mass, particularly our people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. I see Israelites supposed to be in truth talking about a new race, such thing a new race, right? This is Genesis 46 and 10. The sons of Simeon, Jim, and Jamin, Ohad, and Jack, and Zohar, and Shaul, the son of a Canaanite woman. So you go Simeonite, a Simeonite who had a mother who was a Canaanite. How can I say the son? How can I say Shaul, who's a new race, and the son of Canaanite woman? How come Shaul wasn't called a new race? I mean, you people are just stupid, man. All right. Anyway, so prove that the tribe of Gad is still here. I'm proving to those that don't know. All right. I ain't talking to you, Gary, because you're a scoffer, man. All right. The rest of you clowns. All right. Trying to come up against the truth, the 100% truth. All right. All right. So anyway, it says right here, this is from the book Sets and Race, Volume 2 by J.A. Rogers. All right, it's page 356. It says right here. All right, it says in Lower New York State, especially on Long Island, the Indian, talking about Gad, had largely vanished into the Negro by the 1800s. All right, and let me say another thing, man. They was already melanated before they interacted with Judah. All right, it says Pram, right in 1840, says among the Chinnacock. All right, Elder Carr, good friends with the guy that's I believe he's the leader of the Chinnacock people, right? And the multi-Indians, not more than one family, called both of Aboriginal blood, but had similar amalgamated with African blood, talking about Judah blood. He adds by mingling with the African race was Judah, tribe of Judah, who conditioned this country even more depressed than their own. Right, Jeremiah 15:33. They had degraded instead of elevated condition of as communists, stamped and framed sealed on their condition. Right, so basically saying by mingling with their Judean brothers that they great what they didn't, man. All right, they preserved themselves, man. All right, because you are the seed of your father. All right, it says right here, it says, so you got Gad among Judah. All right, Gad is still here. It says the most noted of the Chinnacock Indians were Reverend Paul Cuffey, 1757 to 1812, missionary to Indians, whose father was an Indian, mother was a Negro, right? A Negro. It said writers as Carter G. Woodson, James H. Johnston, Kenneth Porter had given abundant document evidence on mix of the Indian and the Negro. Of course, there were certain Indian tribes who were introvert enemies of the blacks. All right, so they go back to the curses, man. All right, Deuteronomy 28, 54. Also, the breaking up the kingdoms, man. All right, in 1 Kings chapter 11. All right, it said there were certain Indian tribes who were introvert enemies of the blacks, but majority had no objection to mating with blacks. Talking about mating with Jews, nor blacks with them. All right, see, it was going both ways, man. It's in the Illinois territory under the French, Pawnee Indians and the Negro was so intermixed that the word Pawnee became synonymous with slavery and Negroes, and the time came to be called Pawnees. And some years ago, while Looking up the statutes of the various states, it struck me that there certainly would be a law against marriage of Negroes in Indians, Oklahoma, because the Indians, they're rich and the whites want to marry. I looked it up and sure enough, there was. No stone is left unturned by scheming white men and women, Edomite men and women, to marry Indians who would say some of them very visibly Negroes. When the oil for discovery turned, the price of marriage license went up to 1,000. Right, so right here, all right, um, in the state of Illinois, all right, you have Gadites, man. Among so-called Negroes, you got Gadites among so-called Negroes, Oklahoma. You got Gadites among so-called Negroes in New York, man. A lot of brothers in New York are from the tribe of Gad. All right. This is a breeze, man. This is from the book African and Native American by Jack D. Forbes. All right, page 59. All right, it says right here, it says, in the Spanish Empire and the independent republic established there from slavery or semi-slavery also continued from the late 17th century through the 19th century, despite the laws prohibiting such, along with the northern frontier of Mexico. Slavery continued in the 1690s and persisted until the 1860s. Primarily involved Apaches, Navajos, Paiutes, Yabates, and other border nations whose resistance made them subject to be captured. Some natives from the region were shipped to the West Indies, while others, such as the Yaqua, and Yaqua, that's Issachar, was sold to Yucatan. All right. So, all right. So you got Gadites in the West Indies. You got individuals who walk around descendants of the Apache, Navajos, Paiutes, and Yabates, and the other tribe or nations. All right. In the Caribbean islands, man. So you got Gadites in the Caribbean islands. All right. What it says right here, it says, let me see. No, I ain't gonna bring that out yet. All right. But anyway, here you go right here, page 56, same book. It said another source indicates some Americans returned to Massachusetts from Algiers in 1683, and the case of poly development in early New England changed Americans over for Africa. I said Gadites for Judites, man. They in Algiers. All right. It says after 1637, policy was effective implemented by means of war provided captains. Some years after the English took New York from the Dutch, one Sarah Robinson, a Native American prophet, was seized in Southampton and sent as a slave to the Madeira Islands. She was fortunate, however, and was later returned to New York. As English became more involved in the African slave trade, right? There is like slave trade. They also became more ruthless and seasoned Americans. Talking about Gadites. It says in 1663, William Hilton kidnapped several Americans from South Carolina and carried them to the Barbados, where two of them, Shadu and Womanek, was seen in 1666. And from 1670 onwards, the English of South Carolina engaged regularly in American slave trade, sending natives in tens of thousands to the West Indies and other markets. It says in 1674, a group was sent to Jamaica. In 1693, a Cherokee delegation of Charleston requested return to relatives who had been taken to Jamaica without apparent success. All right. All right, you had some Cherokee, so it was going both ways. They was enslaving Jake and they was getting enslaved, man. All right. It said most slaves were from Florida. You got Reuben or Mississippi area. Choctaws, for example, and they were a major source of income to the English. All right. American slaves from Virginia, North Carolina, other areas also sold to West Indies and Bermuda. All right. It says Virginia laws of 1660, 1711, 1723 specifically referred to slave transportation to a foreign country or to the West Indies as a punishment for America. So a punishment for Gad. All right. So to bring that scripture of right here. All right. It says what? Deuteronomy 28. And let's start with 68. Deuteronomy, and Yahweh from bringing into Egypt again. All right, was just talking about captivity, also talking about America. All right, because the tribe of Levi, so-called Haiti, they weren't brought to America, but they went to captivity in the island of Haiti. It says right here, and Yahweh shall bring it into Egypt again with ships by the way I spake unto thee, and thou shalt see no more again. There shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. No man shall buy you. All right. So they went to catch so-called Native American, went to the West Indies, went to the other markets, Europe, elsewhere. All right, on ships. All right. It says right here, Deuteronomy 28:64, and Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even to the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor father had known, even wood and stone. All right. So he scattered among the nation, they son of the nation gods. All right. The philosophy of Christianity, Islam. All right, etc. Matter of fact, let's keep it simple right here. I'm trying to get that James. I don't know why it does that. Anyway, what it said, James chapter 1 verse 1, greetings to I'm gonna paraphrase, greetings to the 12 tribes of Israel that's scattered abroad. Okay. All right, this is a breeze, man. All right, let me get this the information out. All right, let's see. All right, 173 from the American Discovery Europe by Jack D. Forbes. Okay, it says the French themselves became slaves in Canada, Louisiana, Caribbean, meaning Americans are Pawnee, Apache, Chickamauga, and they had nation were enslaved or purchased captives from other tribes. So slaves were known as Pawnees or Paducas in Mississippi Valley in Canada, meaning including especially Natchez people entered their days as slaves on Haiti. All right, so you got ice in Haiti, man. You got a lot of so-called Haitians walking around that are guys. This is page 95. All right, it said many thousands of, I'm going to start here today. It said today, of course, the use of genetic data to shed light upon historical problems has become widespread. The data available to biohistorians, as I call them, had changed radically in the last 50 or so years with many new and complex tools and knowledge available. Unfortunately, most geneticists and biohistorians are usually poorly trained in ethno-historical methodology and know very little about the documented movements and missions of human beings during recorded history. Many thousands, not millions, of Americans, talking about the Northern Kingdom, indigenous people of America, all right, and the spotlight is on Gad, the so-called Native Americans, all right, were enslaved after 1492 and their bondage often including being shipped to Africa, the Canary Islands, Portugal, Spain, and elsewhere. One would expect, therefore, to find a certain number of persons living today in the Mediterranean, Arabian Peninsula, and African coastal regions. I'll read this again: the African coastal regions, who could well possess American DNA or American Y chromosome. The American Y chromosome is by your father. All right, they're going your paternal side. All right, the MTS is your mom's side. So important. The paternal side, American Y chromosome carry this, as well as blood types and other markers. Confusion could be added by the fact that many of Americans were derived from areas in Brazil, Asher, the Caribbean, if few any unmet. Sorry, that's Ephraim, Manasseh, Simeon. All right, where few if any unmet neighbor now live. Thus, they could pass on to European genetic markers, but not known to genetic study contemporary indigenous Americans. Huge numbers of Taino, Arawaks, Caribbeans, right? So that's Ephraim, Simeon, and Manasseh, and other people from many regions, especially along the east coast of America, from Newfoundland, then from Massachusetts, New Hampshire, right? That's Gad, over to Argentina. That's Naphtali, have disappeared in the sense of unmixed population. Survivors may have African or European ancestry, but variety had probably have been partially or largely ignored by genetic research, but until generic Salak ignored by genetic researchers, but until genetic care list of all these Mesoamerican could be discovered, we cannot be sure about the kind of biological heritage possessed in 1492 by American nations. All right, so you got Gad over there in Africa, over there in Europe and elsewhere, man. All right, so Gad is still alive, man. Gad is alive and thriving, man. All right, all right, all over the earth, man. All right, it says right here. This is page 8 from the book Black Indians by William Loren Katz. It said today most Black Indians do not live in forests or on the broad plains of the United States. You hear that, Hugh Gary? All right, you damn demon. All right, it said most do not inhabit government reservations set aside for Native Americans any more than Indians do. All right, so y'all need to get that mask, that crap that Esau put on TV, man. All right, Gadates ain't just limited to no reservations, man. They all ain't light skinned, smiling and stuff, man. All right, as Esau like to put on his TV and stuff, you know. It said to be sure they crowd, for example, the Shouldn't Reservation, New York's Island, but many more walk the crowded streets of nearby New York City. They are found in abundance in the cement caverns of Boston, Chicago, Denver, Cleveland, and Detroit, man. All right. Okay, they had made a long march for farms and woods and ranches to skyscrapers, subways, and ghettos. Okay. All right. So the traffic guide is here, man. It's still here, man. The 12 tribes sign is true. All right. GMS has the 100% truth, man. All right. And you don't have a damn thing, you Gary. All right. So take a seat, man. All right. So I hope you all been edified. Until next time, Yahweh Ratazah, Yahweh willing. Shalom.